I'm just a streamer who talks big. Yet I've pulled off feats that terrify the US. I even hand-built a fusion carrier. This ship isn't just massive. It absorbs nuclear elements from the sea, converting them to clean H-bomb energy. It's revolutionary. This tech sparked a global revolution. It all started when my top donor ordered a 7th-gen jet model. I'm a streamer who does mechanical mods. 2 million followers. Don't think I'm just all talk. I actually have real skills. From car engines to 3-wheeled bikes. There's no machine I can't fix. I was picking items in my studio for tonight's live stream. My phone suddenly rang. I checked the caller ID, It's my top donor, Big Lay. Tan, save me. The moment I answered, Big Lay's voice blasted out. He sounded totally frantic. I laughed. Big Lay, are you being hunted? Need me to build an armored car? Worse than that. Big Lay lowered his voice. It's my old man's 80th birthday. He's a military vet. He's always wanted to see our 7th-gen jet. But you know, that 7th-gen stuff? Even the US only has it on paper. So I figured I'd get him a model, just to make him happy. I leaned back in my chair and kicked my feet up. A model? Sure. Send me the specs. I'll hand-build one for you. Not some cheap 3D printed junk. I'll nail every detail. You're the best, Tian. Big Lay laughed. Dimensions and concepts. I'll text them to you. Time is tight, though. I need it in 2 weeks. A 7th-gen model in 2 weeks? That's a challenge. I thought about it, then agreed anyway. I'll send the money now, buddy. Tell me if you need more.
I hung up.
And the deposit alert arrived. $500,000. I whistled. Rich guys are something else. Spending this much on a single model. I've modded things for fans for years. Done plenty of custom models too. But no one's been as generous as Lay. Time to get to work. I canceled my planned stream.
Hung up the close sign.
And started sketching designs. Just as I was on the 3rd sketch, a voice exploded in my head. Host meets binding conditions. Supermod system initializing. Binding successful. Basic functions unlocked. My pen clattered onto the desk. Next second, a flood of knowledge surged into my brain. Like a breaking dam. Flight control systems. Stealth coding, plasma pulse, AI. Vector nozzle designs. Graphene processing. Dense information. Incredibly detailed. It was as if someone carved it into my mind. I felt like I'd been shocked. I jumped to my feet and looked at my sketches. The rough outlines I'd drawn were now somehow covered in technical notes. Sizes, materials, processes, all crystal clear. Even laser cannons and drones. Blueprints for unmanned systems. I was stunned. My God, this isn't a model. This is a freaking 7th-gen jet. My skills aren't bad. I'm no professor. But as a master mechanic, I could see this design worked. The knowledge in my head confirmed it could actually fly, without hesitation. I dove into the work for 7 straight days. I stayed in the studio, working like a madman. AI module loading. Load successful. Drone adaptation complete. Applying graphene coding. Coding finished. Full stealth coverage. Radar detection below 0.01%. Vector nozzles complete. Plasma pulse system loaded. System check passed. With bloodshot eyes, I watched the systems. Robotic arms assemble the jet. A fierce beast took shape. No markings on the body. Pure graphene finish. Solid black. Like a predator in the dark. Perfectly aerodynamic. With a pure sci-fi look. Small but deadly. I was absolutely sure. This wasn't a model. This was a real 7th-gen fighter. 10 times better than any concept. Only problem, I'd blown the budget. Every cent of the 500K was gone. Plus 100,000 of my own. But looking at the result, it was worth it. Then the phone rang. How's the project going? I didn't want to call and distract you, but it's just a model. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Big Lay sounded anxious. He's clearly in a rush. I leaned back and exhaled. Relax. I've got this. Mission accomplished. The jet model is done. But we went over budget by over 100,000. Send another 200,000. The extra covers my labor. We're even. I promise. This model will stun everyone. Big Lay sighed in relief. Great. You're the best. I'll send the money now. Just ship it to me. I'm busy with guests and can't pick it up. Address sent to your phone. He hung up. I got the address and the money. I stared blankly at the massive, shimmering black jet. Ship this by courier. I bet if I called a shipping company, within 20 minutes, I'd be in handcuffs. I tried calling him back, but he was way too busy to answer. Fine, I'll have to do it myself. I rented a truck, used the system's arms to carefully load it, and drove toward the capital. I drove for a day and night. Early the next morning, I found the place, a villa area on the outskirts, with guards at the gate. The guard glanced at my truck and let me in. I drove the truck in. Right away, I saw a huge crowd gathered ahead. I didn't feel like joining the commotion. I parked the truck, sent Dale a WeChat message, told him the stuff arrived, then found a security guard to hand it over. By the time I finished, it was almost noon. I was so tired I could barely keep my eyes open. Rushed home to catch up on sleep. I didn't find out what happened that day until later. Dale's grandpa is Qin Tianyu, the father of the V-Gen fighter jet in Longo. Longo's huge achievements in aviation are all thanks to this old man. That day was his 80th birthday. All the important people showed up. Dale's cousins rushed to present all kinds of gifts. Famous Shushan stone carvings, calligraphy, airplane models. Dale's nemesis, Chinlan, even personally built a 5th-gen jet, a model of the Empire Dragon.
It was amazingly detailed.
The old man couldn't stop smiling. But Dele didn't prepare anything. He actually counted on my model to make a splash. But I had my phone turned off. The worst part was he missed my texts. Chinlan mocked him in front of everyone. His face turned green, just as he was about to admit fault. A guard walked in. Young Master Chin, a friend of yours asked us to pass you something. It's too big to carry. Please come get it yourself. The crowd rushed out and saw my filthy delivery truck. Chinlan burst out laughing. Dale had no choice but to climb onto the truck, pulled off the black tarp. Then he froze. Everyone froze. A jet, entirely black and with perfect lines, was lying quietly in the bed of the truck, not some cheap plastic model. Every detail gleamed with metallic shine. The vector nozzles under the wings were super precise. The coating shimmered strangely in the sunlight. Grandpa Chin's cane fell to the ground with a clatter. He shakily walked forward, reached out and touched the plane. The coldness came through his palm. He looked like he'd just been shocked. This isn't a model. The room went totally silent. It's real. As soon as he said that, the cockpit canopy suddenly sprung open by itself. The whole place went wild. What Grandpa Chin said was like a bomb exploding at the courtyard gate. This isn't a model. It's real. The place went dead silent. Everyone's eyes were glued to that jet-black fighter. Its cockpit canopy glinted in the sunlight, like an eye just opening. Chindale stood by the truck bed, his legs shaking. He turned to look at the old man. Qin Tianyu's hands were trembling, not from fear, but from excitement for this man who dedicated his whole life to Longo's aviation. His eyes turned red.
His lips trembled.
He couldn't say a word. Not a single word could come out. Grandpa, what did you say? Chinlan's voice broke the silence, completely unimpressed. Isn't this just a model? Just looks more realistic, that's all. Shut up. Qin Tianyu's voice wasn't loud, but everyone heard it. Chinlan's face changed. Grandpa had never talked to her like that in public. Qin Tianyu leaned on his cane. Step by step, he walked toward the jet. He moved slowly, but every step was steady. He walked up close, reached out his hand, gently stroked the graphene coating on the wing's edge. He felt the coldness from its surface. His pupils shrank suddenly. This isn't paint. His voice was shaking. This is a graphene composite coating. Look at this shine, this texture. He turned to the nearby officers in uniform. All top figures in Longo's aviation industry, high-ranking generals and experts. Old Joe, come take a look. A gray-haired lieutenant general hurried up. He touched the fuselage. In a few seconds, his expression went from puzzled to shocked. This isn't a model coating. This is real stealth coating. Then he took a magnifier out of his pocket, looked at the surface for a few seconds. This formula is ahead of our best coating, at least by 10 years. The crowd went dead silent again. Qinlan's smile froze on her face. Qin Dalei stood by the truck bed.
His mind was buzzing.
He looked down at the jet black fighter, then up at the old man, and the expressions on the generals' faces. He knew something big had happened. Dalei in Qintier suddenly called out, "Who built this thing?" "I asked a friend to make it for me. He's a streamer who mods machines. Name's Chun Lishin." "A streamer?" Qinlan finally couldn't hold it in. "Dalei, you've lost it. Getting a streamer to do Grandpa's birthday gift. Plus, this thing." He paused. "Even if the coding is real, it's just a shell. No engine, no flight controls, no avionics. It's just a fancy model." Qin Tianyu ignored him.
His eyes.
"We're locked on the 4 vector nozzles under the wings. Dalei, does this plane have a power system?" Qin Dalei was stunned. "No idea. I just told him to build a model." "Did your friend say if it could start up?" No." Qin Tianyu took a deep breath, turned to the guard nearby. "Get a ladder. I'm going up to check it out." Several generals spoke up at once. "This is too risky. What if—" "What?" Qin Tianyu shot them a look. "I've built planes my whole life. I'm not scared of this." A ladder was quickly brought over. Qin Tianyu leaned on his cane and climbed into the truck step by step. Everyone was watching him nervously, barely daring to breathe. He walked up to the cockpit canopy, looked inside. Then his body suddenly froze. The generals called up nervously from below. "What's wrong?" Qin Tianyu didn't answer. He reached out and gently pressed a button on the canopy edge. The cockpit opened silently. He leaned in to look. The cockpit was not empty. Dashboard, control stick, displays, ejection seat. Everything was there. And the panels weren't plastic models. They were real LCD screens. You could see a faint light pulsing on them. "It's in standby mode." Qin Tianyu's voice came from the truck, carrying a weird mix of emotions. "The plane's systems are in standby." The crowd went wild again. No way a military expert would just climb up a ladder. He peeked inside. Then he was stunned. There's actually power. The screens are lit up. How is that even possible? Qin Daly stood at the bottom. His legs went weak. He pulled out his phone. Wanted to call Chun Lishin. "Phone's off, Daly." Qin Tianyu poked his head out of the crate. His eyes were shockingly complicated. "Did your friend ever tell you if this plane can actually fly?" "No, he didn't say." Qin Tianyu stayed silent for 3 seconds. "I want to try it." "No!" Several generals shouted at once. "Sir, your health." "Let me." Qin Tianyu waved his hand. He turned to the crowd. A young man in a flight jacket. "Zhao, come here." That young man's name is Zhao Yan. He's a test pilot in Longguo Air Force's test flight team. He came to celebrate the old man's birthday today. He froze for a moment, then quickly stepped forward. "Sir, you want me to check if this thing can move?" Zhao Yan glanced at the jet, then looked at Qin Tianyu. He climbed up into the crate, slid into the cockpit. The seat was surprisingly comfy. Not the hard plastic you'd expect in a model, but real ergonomic seating. Even had a seat belt. He grabbed the control stick. It vibrated a bit. Then the screens in front of him turned on. Zhao Yan's eyes narrowed. What's on screen isn't just a startup page. It's a full flight control interface. Altitude, speed, heading, attitude, overload. All parameters are there, and they're moving live. Sir Zhao Yan's voice was shaking. This plane has power, has a flight control system. All instruments are live. Can the engine start? Let me try. Zhao Yan searched around the cockpit. Didn't find a traditional engine start button. He swiped the touch screen. Suddenly, an interface popped up. Pilot biometrics detected. Start system. He was stunned for a second, then pressed it. A deep roar came from behind. Not the typical buzzing of a model's motor. A real turbo engine gave a deep growl when starting. It wasn't loud, but super penetrating. Everyone there heard it. Qin Daly turned pale. Qin Lan's face went pale too. Anyone who knew planes turned pale. The engine was running. Zhao Yan's voice came from the cockpit. With an unbelievable tremble. Thrust is increasing. Vector nozzle is self-checking. God, the engine's actually real. Qin Tianyu's cane dropped to the floor. He'd built planes his whole life. From J8 to J10. From J10 to J20. To the 5th gen dragon of the Empire. He'd watched countless planes become reality from blueprints. But he'd never seen a plane sent here as a model. Start up without any external power. Or source. By itself.
Impossible.
An aviation power expert muttered. How could a plane this size even fit a real turbofan engine? Even if it fits, where's the fuel? Daily, Qin Tianyu suddenly turned around, his voice suddenly sharp, like issuing orders on a battlefield. Call that friend of yours right now. Xing Daily fumbled to dial Chun Lishan's number. The user you're calling is switched off. His face went completely pale. Sir Jia Yan's voice came from the cockpit, with an odd excitement. This plane's flight control system is the most advanced I've seen. It's talking to me. Talking.
It says,
System self-check complete. All parameters normal. Ready for takeoff. Should I initiate takeoff? Dead silence. A model asking if it should take off. Qin Tianyu took a deep breath. His eyes became unusually determined. Zhao, if the runway's long enough, can you get it airborne? Zhao Yan paused for 3 seconds. Sir, this plane doesn't need a long runway. What do you mean? Zhao Yan glanced at the data on the screen. His voice shook. Its thrust-to-weight ratio is way higher than any fighter jet out there. Based on these numbers, it can get airborne within 100 meters. Everyone gasped. The most advanced vertical takeoff jets in the world need at least 300 meters to roll. 100 meters? That's impossible. Try it, said Qin Tianyu. So several generals rushed in. This isn't an airfield. It's all residential here. What if I said try it? Qin Tianyu's voice wasn't loud. But there was zero room for negotiation. If this plane can really fly, we're not dealing with just a model. We're up against something we don't understand. I have to know what it is. The generals exchanged looks. No one spoke after that. Jia Yan took a deep breath in the cockpit, gripped the control stick. He swiped the touch screen, opened the communication panel. Everyone, stay clear of the front. Keep a safe distance. The crowd scattered, moved dozens of meters back. The security guards nervously drew their guns. Even they had no idea what a gun could do to a plane. Jia Yan gently pushed the throttle. That deep roar suddenly grew louder. Not just louder, but sharper. Engine RPM climbed fast. Sounded like a beast waking up. The tail vector nozzles started tilting down. Air blasted onto the ground. Dust and debris flew everywhere. Everyone shielded their eyes and backed away. The jet started to move. No taxi run. It started lifting right from inside the crate. As soon as it cleared the floor, the whole crate shuddered and sank down, let out a screech of metal. Jet hovered half a meter above the crate. The fuselage stayed perfectly still. Not a single wobble. No drift at all. Like an invisible hand was holding it steady. Zhao Yan's heart was racing in the cockpit. This plane's hovering ability beats any vertical takeoff jet in the world. Not just beats. It crushes them, needs no external support. No need for a special platform. No ground crew needed. It handles everything itself. He gently nudged the stick. The jet started to glide forward, leaving the cargo bay. It hovered over the open space in front of the courtyard gate. Everyone looked up, watching that dark jet float in the air. Qin Lan's lips were trembling. She couldn't say a word. Qin Daily's mouth hung open. His mind went blank. And those generals, experts, and engineers, these pioneers of Longguo's aviation, who dedicated decades to this cause, their faces were stunned, in disbelief, and overwhelmed by emotions that couldn't be put into words. King Shenyu stood among the crowd again, looking up at that jet. Tears streamed down his cheeks. He had waited his whole life for this day, for Longguo's promised jet to soar. He never thought the day would come so suddenly that he didn't even know who actually built this plane. Young Zhao, his voice trembled. Let it go higher. Zhao Yan gently pulled the lever. The jet climbed smoothly. 10 meters, 20, all the way up to 100. It hovered 100 meters up. It cast a massive shadow under the sunlight. Engine parameters normal. Flight systems normal. All systems normal. Zhao Yan's voice came from the cockpit, full of near-mad excitement. Sir, this plane, it's just perfect. Fly a lap, King Shenyu said. Sir, take it around. Let me see what it can do. Zhao Yan paused for a second. Then he pushed the throttle. Vector nozzle slowly shifted from vertical to horizontal. The jet shot out like an arrow, blasted forward in an instant. The acceleration left everyone speechless. In less than 3 seconds, the jet went from hovering to supersonic speed. A sonic boom ripped through the sky. like thunder. The courtyard's windows rattled. Faraway cars' alarms went off like crazy. But no one noticed. All eyes stayed glued to the sky. That jet was climbing at a shocking speed. It traced a perfect arc in the sky. Not like those bulky 5th-gen jets that need huge space to turn, but turning in place, breaking all the rules of aerodynamics. Oh my God, an aerospace expert covered his mouth. That turn radius was under 200 meters. That's impossible. Totally impossible. But it's happening. That jet looked alive up there. No more agile than alive. It could switch direction instantly. Stop on a dime even at top speed. Stay controllable right on the verge of stalling. In the cockpit, Zhao Yan. His hands were shaking. He'd flown J-10s, flown J-16s, flown J-20s.
He thought he knew what a good plane was.
But now he understood. Everything he flew before was stone. This was the real, living fighter jet. Its flight control system could talk to him, predict his moves, and respond even before his nerves hit the stick. Whatever he thought, the jet did. It wasn't him flying the jet was flying his mind. Sir, Zhao Yan's voice came over the radio, sounding like he was about to cry. I can't even describe this plane. The flight control system is the most advanced I've ever seen. No, not advanced. It's on a whole other level. It's like it's reading my mind. King Shenyu stood below on the ground, looking up at the sky, tears all over his face. Come back now, he said. That's enough. The jet drifted down like a falling leaf, floated gently from the sky, not diving or dropping straight down. But the nozzle slowly rotated from horizontal to vertical, holding the plane steady for landing. It touched down in front of the courtyard gate. Landing gear gently kissed the ground, without making a sound. Cockpit cover popped open. Zhao Yan sat inside, face soaked with tears. He took off his helmet, then turned to King Shenyu. Sir, I know what this plane is. King Shenyu interrupted him. He turned around, looked at everyone present. Nobody's to say a word about what happened today. This is top secret. Then he looked at Chin Daly.
Daily.
Contact that friend of yours immediately. Find him, no matter where he is. Track him down. This jet, its value. King Shenyu paused, his voice turning hoarse.
It's worth 1,000 aircraft carriers.
I woke up because I had to pee. Reached for my phone, half asleep. Turned it on, buzz, 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 buzz. My phone was vibrating like it was having a seizure. I looked down. 147 missed calls. 893 WeChat messages. 67 texts. I was stunned. The phone just kept going. Another call came in. Unknown number. I answered, hello? Is this Mr. Chun Lishan? The voice sounded really official. Very businesslike. Yes, this is the Longguo Air Force Equipment Division. Please stay where you are. Our people are on their way. They'll arrive in about 15 minutes. Sir, Please stay calm. And don't try to leave. We mean you no harm. Just want to have a conversation. About what? There was a second of silence on the line. About the plane An-Ning built. Then the call ended. I sat dumbly in the driver's seat, my mind totally blank. I looked at the stack of missed calls again. 147, some from Daily, some unknown numbers, and some from area codes I'd never seen in my life. I checked my WeChat. Dozens of messages from Daily. Bro, why is your phone off? Bro, is that model for real? Sir has lost his mind. Everybody's lost their minds. That plane actually flew. Bro, what did you do? Where are you? Message me back. Bro, did they take you away? Crap, crap, crap. I didn't finish reading the rest, because my phone buzzed again. This time it was a news alert. I glanced at the headline. Mysterious jet spotted at Beijing courtyard. Suspected Longguo 7th gen prototype. My finger hovered over the screen. I didn't even dare to tap it. Another alert. J-5 creator Qin Tianyu's birthday party locked down. Military investigating. One more alert. U.S. Defense Department holds emergency press conference. Announces new next-gen air superiority plan. My hands started to shake. Sirens wailed in the distance. Not sirens. Not police. It's the deep rumble of military vehicles. I look up. A convoy is heading this way. Headlights cut through the morning fog. On the lead vehicle, a red flag flutters at the front. 3 black SUVs, a military truck, and a mobile command vehicle. The convoy stopped next to my dirty truck. The doors opened. 8 people in uniform got out. The one leading was a major. Looked about 30. No expression. His eyes were sharp as knives. Chun, Li-shen? That's me. Come with us. Where to? You'll find out. I opened my mouth, wanting to say something, but saw the pistols at their waists. Better stay quiet. I was put in an SUV. The windows were tinted. I couldn't see a thing. It was really quiet inside. Only the low rumble of the engine. I sat in the back, a soldier on each side of me. No one spoke. We drove for about 40 minutes. I had no idea where we were. Just remember we passed several checkpoints. Each one had armed guards checking IDs. Finally, we stopped in front of a gray building. There was no sign on the building, but 4 guards stood at the door. They had real guns. I was brought inside, went through a long hallway. Eventually, they'd put me in a meeting room. The room wasn't big, but it was spotless. A long table, leather chairs, a projector. Looked just like any corporate meeting room. But the dragon flag on the wall and the emblem beside it reminded me this wasn't just any place. I sat alone for about 10 minutes before the door opened. 5 people came in. A major in uniform, a middle-aged man with glasses, 2 young tech guys, and an elderly lady with white hair. She wore a faded jacket, with an old badge pinned to her chest. Most of her hair had gone white, deep wrinkles on her face, but her eyes were shockingly bright. She looked at me not like a suspect, but more like I was a gold nugget. Chun Li-shen, 26 years old, mechanical modification streamer, 2.03 million followers. The man with glasses opened a file. His tone was flat, like reading a menu. 7 days ago, received an order from Chin Daily. Asked to make a Gen 7 jet model. Started building it 3 days later. Finished yesterday and delivered it in person at the Chin family birthday party. He closed the file. Looking at me, am I right? I nodded. Can you tell me? The major spoke up, voice deep, carrying a pressure you can't ignore. How did you, in just 15 days, from scratch, build a jet with aerodynamic design, flight and power systems, and make it do VTOL, and supersonic cruise like the real thing? I was silent for 3 seconds. I said I just winged it. You guys believe that? All 5 of them went silent. The major's mouth twitched. The old lady actually laughed. She really enjoyed it. Her eyes crinkled into crow's feet. Kid, try winging one for me. I scratched my head. I knew I couldn't tell them about the system. No one would believe me anyway. Might even get sent to the psych ward. But I had to give them a reasonable answer. I've always loved machines since I was a kid. Majored in automation in college, although I haven't graduated yet. My theory basics are solid. I've been streaming mod projects these years, so I'm pretty familiar with different mechanical systems. After Dale sent me the concept image, I started thinking, if I really built a 7th gen jet, what would it look like? Then I started drawing blueprints, and somehow it just came together. Just like that, I finished it. The major's eyebrows knitted tight. Do you know how many years and billions the Academy spent just to master the 5th gen flight control system? And you just drew it up like that. I braced myself and said, maybe I was just born with it. The old lady laughed again. She laughed even harder this time. She stood up and walked over to me, looked me up and down. Young man, how did you make that coating on the plane? Graphene composite coating. I mixed it myself. What about the flight control system? Adaptive neural network system. I wrote the code. Propulsion system. I swear I didn't build one. Propulsion system. It's really just a model. Maybe you just saw some static electricity or something. Old Mrs. Chun interrupted me. Her voice was soft, but strong. The engine on that plane. Our people already checked it. It's a real working turbofan. Its thrust is more than any engine we have in service, of the same size, by at least 40%. And its flight control system, when test pilot Colonel Zhao Yan flew it, it showed maneuverability beyond all current fighter jets. It's stealth coding. Our engineers studied it. The sample is at least 10 years ahead of our best tech. You telling me you just guessed all this too? The meeting room went so quiet. You could hear the AC running. Sweat was pouring down my back. I opened my mouth, but couldn't say a word. Suddenly, the door swung open. A young officer rushed in, whispered in the major's ear, The major's face changed immediately. He looked at the old lady. She looked back at him. They exchanged a look. The major took a deep breath, turned to me, Chan Lishan. Just now, Britain's defense ministry held an emergency press conference, announced launch of a next-gen air superiority plan, adding $50 billion budget. NATO is holding an emergency defense ministers meeting. Japan's 2 Izumo-class carriers just left port. Destination unknown. Meanwhile, our satellite just picked up. The major paused. His voice suddenly grew heavy. Pacific direction. 3 U.S. carrier groups. Speeding west fast. My mind went blank for a second. I built a model plane. Now, World War III is about to break out. The old lady looked at my face and sighed softly. Son, do you realize? That model you built. Its aero shape, coating, and materials, flight controls and propulsion, is enough for any military expert to believe China has 7th-gen jets in service. And now the whole world thinks China has tech they can't even imagine. Do you know what that means? I shook my head. She looked at me, her eyes complicated.
It means
You just changed the whole global power balance. I was stunned. The old lady stood up, walked to the window, her back to me. Great power games. At the core, it's not how many nukes you have. It's not how many carriers. It's making others believe what cards you hold. The plane you built, even if it's really just a shell, as long as the shape, coating, flight controls, and propulsion look real. And if America's satellites saw it, if their intelligence guys can't sleep, then it is real. She turned around, looked at me and said from now on, you're not just a streamer. What are you? You're the tech advisor for China's 7th-gen fighter program. That's an order. The old lady patted my shoulder pretty hard.
and
Do you really think we consider that thing just a model? She pulled out a tiny USB drive, waved it in front of me. The data from your flight control system. Our engineers analyzed it overnight. Your design is at least 15 years ahead of ours. Chan Lishan, what's in your head is worth 1,000 carriers. I got assigned to a special technical team, officially called a key lab, but really it's a secret, isolated research base. My job was to turn the knowledge from my system into real plans bit by bit and hand them to the real engineers. I can't just say it's from my system. I have to pretend all that knowledge I figured out myself, so began my long performance. This coding formula. I started from the graphene molecules. Look at how they're arranged. The core algorithm for the flight controls. Actually, you can solve it with adaptive neural networks. I wrote up a framework. The engineers listened, stunned. The project leader, a middle-aged professor half-bald, looked at me first with doubt, then shock. Then shock turned into obsession. Genius, you're a damn genius. I studied this for 20 years and never got there. How did you even come up with this? Really, how? I could only force a smile. Maybe I'm just good at overthinking. On day 3, I ran into someone in the cafeteria. Or more like was cornered by someone. You're Chan Lishan. I looked up. Standing before me was a girl with a ponytail, wearing a flight jacket, eyes sharp as a blade. Heard you build that fighter jet. Guess I did. She sized me up, a slight smirk on her lips. A streamer, made China's most advanced fighter. I grinned. Are you doubting me? I'm doubting that jet. She reached out her hand. Shen Yuan, test pilot. I'll fly your plane. I shook her hand. Her palm was tough with old calluses. The kind you get from years at the stick. What planes have you flown? J-10, J-16, J-20. Shen Yuan listed them. 1,200 hours, all types combined. I raised an eyebrow. A J-20 pilot. That's the very top of Chinese Air Force. That jet is a scaled prototype, and the cockpit is sized to fit me. So you fit in? I don't. Shen Yuan laughed. Relax, I'm 5 centimeters shorter than you. Has your mouth always been this sharp? Only to people I don't trust. First flight simulation training. Shen Yuan got into the simulator. I watched the data screen outside. I designed the Tianlong's flight control system. It's an adaptive control based on neural networks. In theory, it can learn a pilot's habits. Shen Yuan tried it for the first time, and soon realized this plane was nothing like the others he'd flown. The response is way too fast. His voice came through the headset. This doesn't feel like flying a jet. Feels like moving my own body? That's exactly right. I kept my eyes on the data. Its flight control syncs with your neural signals. Whatever you think, it'll do. Shen Yuan was quiet for a couple seconds. Are you sure this isn't sci-fi? Just fly it and you'll see. Shen Yuan pulled the stick. In the simulator, Tianlong did a wild maneuver. It turned 90 degrees in a flash. His voice changed. This little beast. A regular jet would have fallen apart. That's why it's not a regular jet, I said calmly. Graphene composite body. It can take 3 times the G-force of other fighters. You made it handle triple G-force. Did you think about the pilot? I paused. So I designed a brand new G-suit. It links with the flight system to auto-adjust the pressure. The pilot's G-load should drop by 40%. Shen Yuan took off the helmet. He turned to look at me through the window. Those sharp eyes of his showed something new for the first time. Doubt and shock. What are you, really? I smiled. I used to be a streamer. Now I build planes for you. That night, late, I sat by the runway on base, still going over flight system settings in my head. Footsteps came from behind me. Shen Yuan walked over with 2 coffees. He sat down next to me. I'm just used to being up. He handed me a cup. Every time there's a new jet to fly. I can't sleep the night before. Not nerves. He looked at the pitch black sky beyond the runway. It's respect that I was quiet for a moment. Are you scared? Shen Yuan didn't answer right away. I had a senior back then. He had an accident testing the J20 prototype. Didn't evacuate in time.
he did eject.
But broke his back doing it.
He stared at the cup in his hands.
He's in a wheelchair now. My heart tightened. Then why do you still fly? Shen Yuan looked up, met my eyes. Because someone has to. The wind blew over the runway. Smelled like jet fuel. I looked at his side profile. Moonlight on his face. His features were sharp. Eyes full of resolve. Then I spoke up. For every plane I build, I'll make sure it never betrays you. Shen Yuan froze a second, then smiled. You talk weird. Planes aren't people. How would they betray you? You don't get it, I laughed too. Everything I build has a soul. 3 months later, deep in the Lopnur Desert, 6 a.m., the sky was still deep blue. Tianlong was finally upgraded. No longer a rough black model, but painted in low visibility gray. On its side, the real prototype with the dragon flag and 001 badge. I stood at the edge of the runway, watching Shen Yuan suit up. Are you sure you want to do it yourself? Shen Yuan glanced over at me. It's my job to fly it first. But plans change. I zipped my flight suit up. There are too many unknowns about this flight system. If something goes wrong, I'm the only one who know how to fix it. You're not a pilot. I'm the one who built it. We lock eyes. Shen Yuan pulls something from his pocket. He puts it in my hand. It's a small safety charm. Red, a bit worn out. My senior brother gave it to me. I always bring it before every flight. Now you have it. What about you when you fly? I'm not the one flying today. Shen Yuan turns around. His voice is quiet. Don't crash my plane. I grip the charm tightly. I laugh and get in the cockpit. Put on the oxygen mask. Turn on the main system switch. System self-check in progress. Flight control system is normal. Power system is normal. Com system is normal. All systems are normal. Ready for takeoff. Tower, this is Tianlong 1. Requesting takeoff. Tianlong 1, cleared for takeoff. Wind from the northwest. Wind speed 8 meters per second. Runway is clear. Good luck. I throttle up. The 2 turbofan engines rumble low. The whole cockpit shakes. I release the brakes. Tianlong starts rolling, picking up speed. Faster and faster. The horizon at the runway's end rushes closer. Nose wheel, Tianlong 1. I gently pull the stick. Nose lifts up. Nose wheel off the ground. Main wheels up. Tianlong 1 has taken off. I feel my body pressed into the seat. The engine thrust pushes me skyward. The earth shrinks below my feet. The desert looks like a yellow carpet. Keep climbing. 5 kilometers. 8 kilometers. 10,000. 15, 20,000 meters. I look at the sky out the window. Can't help but grin. This is awesome. Tower. Tianlong 1 reporting. Everything's normal. Received. Altitude 20,000 meters. Speed Mach 0.9. All systems good. I push the throttle. Tianlong speeds up fast. MACH 0.9,1.0,1.5,2.0,2.5. 2.5 times the speed of sound. Right then. 2 blips pop up on radar. Tower, southeast, 120 kilometers. 2 unknown aircraft incoming. Tower is silent for 3 seconds. Tianlong 1. Confirm. 2 F-35s took off from Gasson base. Super low altitude coming into our air defense zone. They're here for you.
I grip the stick tightly.
Radar warning suddenly goes off. Locked. Locked. Radar warning. You've been locked on. My pupils contract sharply. I'm locked on. In Dragon Country's airspace. Locked by 2 unidentified aircraft. Tianlong 1. Return at once. No time. I stare at the radar screen. The 2 F-35s are closing in fast. Less than 60 kilometers out. Tianlong 1. This is ground command. They're testing you. If you run, they'll know you're fake. If they shoot you down, they'll know you're real, but beatable. I close my eyes, then open them. Tower? Tianlong 1. Request to arm weapons. You don't have live rounds on board? I know. I throttle up. Tianlong speeds up again. Mach 2.5,3.0,3.5. I pull back the nose. Climb almost vertical. 25,000. 30. 35,000. F-35 service ceiling is 18,000 meters. They can't reach me now. I shut off the engine. Tianlong draws a perfect curve in the sky, then nose dives down. Speed is climbing fast. Mach 3.5,4.0,4.5. Wind howls outside the cockpit. Fuselage shakes a little, but totally under control. F-35's radar alarms are screaming. Their pilots didn't expect this prototype to be this good. Both jets brake left and right. Just what I wanted. I activate the EMP system. An invisible electromagnetic wave shoots from the nose. High-power directional jamming. F-35 radar is blacked out. Comes lost. No navigation. Weapons lock disabled. They're like blind birds up there, flying around in confusion. Their pilots scream on the radio, but no one can hear them. I fly right between them, less than 50 meters apart. I can even see the panic on the pilots' faces. 30 seconds later, the F-35 systems come back on. Both jets have turned around, racing toward the East China Sea. Tower, Tianlong 1 reporting unknown. Aircraft have left. No losses on our side. Tower goes quiet, then erupts into wild cheers. I let out a long breath, lean back in my seat. Tianlong 1, head back now. Copy. I turn the nose around. Fly back to base. During landing, there's a crowd by the runway. Lin Wanqing, Old Qin Daily, and Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan stands up front, looks calm, but his eyes are red. I climb down the ladder. Legs feel weak, not from G-forces, but from the crash of adrenaline. Shen Yuan comes up, looks me over top to bottom. Are you hurt? Plane okay too? Shen Yuan nods, then punches me in the chest. Crazy. EM system? When did you add that? Why didn't you report it? It's in the blueprints. I rub my chest. Take it easy. In the blueprints, my ass. Shen Yuan's eyes get even redder. What if you got shot down? But I didn't. But what if? I look into her red eyes. Suddenly, I can't say a word. Lin Wanqing comes over. She looks at me, then at Shen Yuan. Her lips curl up a bit. All right, that's enough. Go write your reports. Both of you now. That night, I'm in the dorm writing my report. Halfway through, my brain turns to mush. Someone knocks at the door. I open it. Shen Yuan's there, holding a bowl of noodles. Want some? You made it? Got it from the cafeteria. I take the bowl, glance down. The noodles are clumped up, but there's a fried egg on top. Burnt a little. Cafeteria eggs aren't burnt. I look up at him. Shen Yuan's ears turned red. Are you going to eat or not? If you don't, I'll throw it away. Fine, I'll eat. I finished the noodles in just a few bites. Even drank all the soup. Shen Yuan stood by the door. He had no intention of leaving. That protection charm.
He spoke up. Give it back to me.
I pulled out that red charm from my pocket, handed it to him, and he took it, clenched it in his palm. You know what? I held on to it every time before I flew. It used to make me think of my senior. Now he looked up into my eyes. Now it's you I miss. The hallway was really quiet. You could see the airport lights in the distance. A plane was landing. I reached out my hand.
Held hers?
You don't have to miss me anymore. Why? Because I grinned. I'm not going anywhere. 3 months later, I was in the lab analyzing Tianlong's flight data. Suddenly, I got called to a meeting room. Lin Wanqing and Minister Zhao. From the Navy Equipment Department, a few guys in uniform were there too. Chen Lishan, there's a new mission. Minister Zhao got straight to the point. He pressed the remote. A nuclear sub photo popped up on the screen. Our nuclear sub noise has always been a problem. The sonar array they have stretches under the Pacific Ocean. The moment our sub leaves port, they can hear us. The Kide jet. Its EMP system showed us possibilities. Use the same idea to wipe out submarine noise. Looking at the sub on the screen, my mind was already racing. Show me the current solutions. Back in the lab, I unrolled the blueprints. The system interface popped up in front of me. Detecting. Host is drawing a submarine power system. Scanning concept diagram. Optimizing. Done. New knowledge flooded my mind. Not nuclear powered. It's plasma stealth tech. Using electromagnetic fields. A layer of plasma shield forms around the sub. Sonar beams hit it and get absorbed or deflected. The sub completely disappears from sonar. I took a sharp breath. This is even crazier than the Kide's EMP system. I need an assistant. I told Minister Zhao. Someone who gets submarine power systems. Preferably someone with hands-on combat project experience. Minister Zhao thought for a second. I've got the perfect one. But you might have to ask in person. Who? Lin Xiu, Chief of Machinery and Electronics in a South Sea Fleet submarine unit. The first female sub-engineer officer in the country. Retired from injury 3 years ago. Teaches at a university now. Injury was from decompression sickness. Lost hearing in her right ear. Can't dive anymore. A few days later, I showed up at a university office. Lin Xiu sat across from me. Hair in a low ponytail. Wearing thin-rimmed glasses. Looked really calm. Spoke softly. But every word was clear. Minister Zhao called me about it. I heard you built a Kide jet. It wasn't just me. No need to be modest. Lin Xiu cut me off. I saw that day's radar logs. 2 F-35s locked onto you. You took them both down with a single MP. If that EMP's frequency worked underwater. In theory, it could block active sonar detection. I froze for a sec. You figured it out? I spent 8 years on subs. Lin Xiu said calmly. Sonar is what I know best. I glanced around. At her desk full of submodels. Each one detailed to perfection. Type 093 and Type 094. Even the Eagle's Virginia-class subs are here. All handmade. Did you make them yourself? Luckily, Lin Xiu picked up a Type 093 model. Every compartment of the submarine. Every single pipe. I remember them all. I take a deep breath. Freelancer, come work with me. Let's build a sub the Eagle can't hear. Lin Xiu looks at me. She stays quiet for a long time. My ears don't need you to dive. I said, just help me with the blueprints on land. Every compartment you draw. Every single pipe will become real. Lin Xiu's eyes got a little brighter. She stood up. She reached out. When do we start? I held her delicate hand and said calmly, right now it's late night. Only Lin Xiu and I are in the lab. The table is covered with blueprints. A plasma shield needs super high energy density. The nuclear reactor can't supply enough power. Lin Xiu frowned. What if we use pulsed power? I sketched a rough diagram on paper. On standby, then instantly start up when sonar beams are detected. I can make the response time reach microseconds. Lin Xiu looked at my sketch. Her eyes shined even brighter. That's not submarine tech. That's electronic warfare.
It's all electromagnetic waves.
I laughed. In the sky or underwater, it's basically all the same. Lin Xiu laughed too. It's the first time he's laughed so happily in days. Chen Lishan, did you know? When I was in the submarine unit, our biggest wish was that one day, the Eagle sonar would never find us again. Now, looking at the blueprints on the table, that wish might actually come true. Half a month later, we hit our first big problem. The plasma shield uses way too much energy. With the current power system, full power can only last 4 hours max. 4 hours isn't enough? Lin Xiu shook her head. If an anti-sub plane tracks us, 4 hours can't shake it off. So I checked the data. We need a better energy storage solution. I closed my eyes, pulled up the system interface. Hosts need detected. New supercapacitor solution. Loading. Done. Fresh knowledge flooded into my mind. A graphene-based, carbon nanotube composite supercapacitor with 5 times the energy density of current products and 10 times faster charging and discharging. I opened my eyes. Give me 3 days. Those 3 days, I went nuts prepping materials. Lin Xiu helped out beside me. We were getting more and more in sync. The graphene wasn't mixing evenly. Stirring speed was too slow. Let me do it. Lin Xiu took over the mixer. Keep calculating the parameters. Late the second night. When I woke up, I found an extra jacket on me. From Lin Xiu. She was asleep at the table across from me, still holding a pen, the paper covered in formulas. I looked at his peaceful profile and felt something I couldn't describe. I picked up the jacket, wanting to cover him up. I'm not asleep. Lin Xiu suddenly spoke, without opening her eyes. Then what are you doing? Thinking about parameters. Did you figure it out? No. He opened his eyes and looked at me. Help me check where this formula is wrong. I took the paper, glanced over it. The coefficient's wrong here. I grabbed the pen, changed a number. It should be 0.37, not 0.5. Lin Xiu paused. She recalculated. Right, he looked up, eyes full of shock. How did you spot it right away? I smiled. I'm just gifted. Oh, come on. Really? I just see the key problem instantly. Lin Xiu stared at me for a long time. You know, there's a saying in the submarine unit. What saying? Deep sea phobia. It's not fear of darkness or water pressure. It's fear of not finding your way home. After too long underwater, you forget what the surface even looks like. His voice was soft. After I left the service, for more than a year, I had nightmares every night. Dreamt I was in deep sea, sonar broken, navigation gone, pitch dark all around. And then just woke up, covered in cold sweat. I stayed quiet a while. What about now? Still have nightmares? Xiu shook her head. Been so tired these days. I'd fall asleep right away. We both laughed. 3 months later, Deep Sea Hunter was fully built. Sea trials started. Lin Xiu and I stood on the command ship's bridge, watching Deep Sea Hunter slowly dive. On the sonar screen, the sub went deeper. 500 meters, 1 kilometer. 2 kilometers, signal fading. At 3 kilometers, the signal vanished. On the sonar screen, there was just blank space. Where is it? Director Zhao's voice shook. I looked at Lin Xiu. Lin Xiu closed her eyes and gently ran her finger over the sonar screen. Everyone looked where she pointed. The screen showed nothing. She's right, the sonar operator suddenly shouted. Passive sonar picked up a weak signal. Bearing 032, range 12 nautical miles. Running at low speed. How did you do that? Director Zhao was stunned. I grinned. Engineer Lin spent 8 years on subs. He doesn't need sonar. He judges the sub's location by water flow sound. Director Zhao looked at Lin Xiu differently. With respect only old sailors have for real experts. You deserve the honor. Lin Xiu was briefly stunned. Your ears. Work on land is still work, Director Zhao said. The Navy needs you. Lin Xiu's eyes turned red. He looked at me. I smiled and nodded. Go on, I won't run away. Deep Sea Hunter's successful sea trial left no time to celebrate. Fresh intel landed on my desk. Sakura Nation is secretly deploying a new type of underwater detection system in the East China Sea. It's not sonar. It's a magnetic anomaly detection array. When subs travel, they slightly disturb Earth's magnetic field, locating plasma shields. Stealth doesn't work on this. I frowned. Who gave them that tech? Lin Wanqing looked very upset. Eagle's latest tech, specifically targeting our plasma stealth. They know Deep Sea Hunter exists, unsure. But they know. Our submarine suddenly went silent. So, they're trying to work around our stealth tech. I was quiet for a long time. We need a countermeasure. Back to the lab. I pulled up the system interface. Host request detected. Here's the suppression system plan. Loading.
Loaded.
A new type of magnetic anomaly suppression device. It creates an artificial magnetic field around the sub. That cancels out the sub's disturbance to the Earth's magnetic field. The magnetic anomaly detection array is totally useless now. But I didn't act right away. I stared at the data on the system screen. Suddenly, I noticed something. This magnetic anomaly suppression device needs a special superconducting material. This material, right now, only 3 labs in the world can make it. One is in Longo. The other 2, my eyes narrowed. The other 2 are in the US. If the US has already mastered magnetic anomaly detection, why would they give the tech to Sakura Valley? Unless they're testing, using Japan as the guinea pig, testing the detection tech on Chinese subs, then using the results to fine-tune their own system. My hands clenched. You're playing this game well. I called everyone together for a meeting. Lin Wanqing, Director Zhao Shenyuan, and Lin Xiu sat in a circle. The magnetic anomaly suppression device is sound in theory. I sketched on the whiteboard. But it needs a superconducting material. We can't mass produce it yet. How long will it take? Director Zhao asked. If we start from scratch, at least 2 years. 2 years is way too long. So I turned around. We're not starting from scratch. What do you mean? Lin Wanqing frowned. The US's magnetic anomaly detection tech is based on a specific superconducting material formula. Their patents have some clues. You want to reverse engineer it? No, I shook my head. I'm not copying theirs. Their formula has issues. The operating temperature is too high. Not stable enough for deep-sea environments. What I want is a brand new formula. Operates 50 degrees lower than theirs. And 10 times more stable. The room went silent. Lin Wanqing looked at me. You can do it? I nodded. Give me 6 months. Shen Yuan suddenly spoke up. Wait. You just said the US is using Japan as a guinea pig? Yeah, does Japan even know? Whether they know doesn't matter. What matters, I said, is the magnetic array they deployed is already right at our doorstep. Then let's take it out first. Shen Yuan's eyes turned cold. I looked at Lin Xiu. Can you do it? Lin Xiu was silent for a moment. Then she spoke. To disrupt the magnetic array, it has to be fixed to the seabed. Its location is fixed. As long as we know the coordinates, it's doable. We can have a deep-sea robot place an interference source right next to it. No need to destroy it. Just make it inaccurate. Director Zhao's eyes lit up. You have the coordinates? Lin Xiu pulled out a sea chart. She marked 6 points on it. Based on public ocean geology data, these 6 spots are on the East China seafloor. They're the best sites for the magnetic array. If Japan wants to deploy, it's got to be at one of those 6. Director Zhao stared at the map. He was silent for a long time. Engineer Lin, you remind me of a saying. Which one? Old soldiers never die. They just fade away. Lin Xiu smiled. I'm still young. Not fading away anytime soon. The operation will begin in 3 days. A Chinese deep-sea operations ship shuts off all its lights. It sails quietly in the dark. 2 deep-sea robots are released from the stern. Their mission: at 6 predetermined spots, deploy mini magnetic wing jammers. Each jammer is just the size of a fist, but within a 5-kilometer radius. It can create fake magnetic wing signals. Sakura Country's magnetic wing array gets flooded by these fake signals. Completely shuts down. I'm watching the screens on the command ship. Point 1 deployed. Point 2 deployed. At point 3, suddenly, the screen flickered. Sonar operator reports. Found an unknown underwater target. Depth, 150 meters. Speed, 15 knots. Approaching fast. Nationality unknown. No active sonar echo. Just propeller. Noise matches Sakura Country's Soru-class sub. Lin Xiu speaks calmly. Powered by batteries. Super quiet. But in active mode, it still gets detected. Did they spot us? Not sure, but if it keeps coming, it'll enter our operating zone. Minister Zhao stays silent for 3 seconds. Continue deploying. If it crosses the alert line, let them know whose sea this is. Deep-sea robots deploy faster. Sakura Country sub. Getting closer. 15 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles. Deep-sea hunter appears silently from the dark. It hasn't turned on active sonar. Plasma shield is on standby. On the Sakura Country sonar screens, it's completely invisible, but its torpedo tubes are open. Sakura Country sub sonar operator suddenly screams. Passive sonar picks up a faint signal. 3 miles dead ahead. Signal flashes, then disappears. Like a ghost. 30 seconds later, Sakura Country sub turns back. Flees toward Okinawa at top speed. Everyone on the command ship exhales. Lin Shiyu lightly slides her finger across the sonar screen. She gives a small smile. They ran. Minister Zhao looks at her. How did you know they'd run? Sakura Country submariners have a unique trait, Lin Shiyu says softly. They're not afraid of being found. They're scared of knowing someone is there, but hearing nothing. Deep sea phobia. They're not the only ones who have it. I look at her profile, suddenly get a weird feeling inside. She spent 8 years in the deep sea, knows that darkness better than anyone, and fears it more than anyone, even me. Just when I thought I could relax, new intel comes in. Longuo, a strategic research analyst, is reporting. Based on latest satellite images, Yingjiang is testing a new aircraft shape, secret base in Nevada. No tail, all-in-one, super long range. NGAD project is probably in engineering validation. First flight expected next year. Everyone's shocked. They're faster than us. Minister Zhao frowns. Faster than we thought. Our Tianlong 2 is scheduled for first flight the year after. I look at the satellite photo on screen. A blurry, pixelated outline. System interface pops up. External data detected. Analyzing. Target aircraft's aerodynamic features.
Compared to Tianlong 2 design.
37% structural similarity. Coincidence rate under 1%. My pupils suddenly shrink. 37% structural similarity. That's impossible. Unless Yingjiang also has one. I have another update. Analyst's voice goes low. NGAD project's chief designer was just unmasked. A photo appears on screen. A young man with glasses, wearing a white lab coat, standing in front of a scale model. Below the photo, it says Mark Davis, age 31, MIT PhD, NGAD chief designer, known as Yingjiang's Chen Lishan. Room falls silent. I'm staring at that photo. That man is smiling. And his eyes have something familiar. Not the look of an engineer, but the look of a creator. That night, I'm in my office. Full-size Tianlong 2 blueprint in front of me. My hand is shaking, not out of fear, but excitement. Yingjiang has a system holder too. Means this isn't just an arms race. It's a showdown between two chosen ones. Shen Yuan shows up at some point. Leans on the doorframe, watching me. What are you thinking?
Thinking Mark Davis got scared?
No, I shake my head. I'm wondering what's different between us. Difference is my system gives optimization plans. Push Longuo's current tech to its max. What about his? I pause. If his system is like mine, NGAD's shape shouldn't be 37% like Tianlong 2. So what does that mean? Means his system also gives optimization plans. But based on Yingjiang's current tech, so his plane follows their tech path. Mine follows Longuo's. We took different routes from the start. Shen Yuan looks at me. His eyes are hard to read. Which path do you think is right? I put down my pen. Turn around. We'll see on the battlefield. The days after that, I dove into work like crazy. Tianlong 2 wasn't system given. I designed it myself. System gave plans for the first plane. I mastered them. Flight control, coatings, engines, weapons. I dismantled every module countless times, until I knew it by heart. Then started drawing my own blueprints. When Lin Wanqing saw my drafts, she was silent for 5 whole minutes. Your own idea. How does it compare to Tianlong I? 20% faster, 30% more range, 40% higher payload. I paused. Plus, it can go on ships, carrier-based. Tianlong I is way too big and heavy. Can't take off or land on carriers. But Tianlong 2 can. Lin Wanqing's eyes light up. You know what this means?
I laugh. It means
our carriers can take these fighters to sea. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Mark Davis is also working like mad. Later, Intel says, he only slept 3 hours each day then. Over a dozen coffee cups piled up on his desk. His team was tackling a key issue. Flight control diverges over Mach 3.2. Lower gain factor by 15%. Tried it. Didn't work. Redesign the control rate. That'll take at least a month. I'll give you 2 weeks. 2 weeks isn't enough. Then 3 weeks. That's the maximum. They say he was in bad shape then. dark circles under his eyes. Unshaven, he was raging like a trapped beast. Because he knew, across the ocean, someone was faster than him. Project Tianlong 2 was entering a critical phase. But then I got chilling news. Lin Wanqing called me to a secret meeting room. She looked very serious. We intercepted some intel. She hit play. A fuzzy recording started. Confirmed target Tiangong's true identity. Chen Lishan, 26 years old. Special Technology Advisor Longuo Aviation Industry Group. Technical Major General. Confirmed participation in Gen 7 fighter project. And new submarine project. Recommend launch Operation Birdcatcher. Codename, Falcon. Target capture alive. End of recording. A chill ran down my spine. They want to take me alive. Lin Wanqing's voice was icy. Not assassination. Alive. They want you and everything in your head. Not sure how they'll grab you. They might try to turn people around you. Or outright kidnap my people. A thought hit me. I shot to my feet. Shen Yuan is safer than you. Lin Wanqing held me back. He's on the airbase. Even harder to access than you. So you're most at risk outside. Lin Wanqing looked at me. From now on, you can't move alone. Someone must go with you outside the base. I was silent for a long time. President Lin, my mom, will protect her. Lin Wanqing's tone softened. It's all arranged. No need to worry. I closed my eyes. Remembered calling home last time. My mom said on the phone, "Son, take care of yourself out there. Don't worry about me." I didn't know. That call might already be monitored. That night, Shen Yuan came to my office. She didn't say a word, just sat across from me, quietly kept me company while I worked late. "Why aren't you going home to rest?" I asked, "Why can't you sleep? Are you worried about me?" I looked up at him. He lowered his head, doodling on the desk. Chen Lishan, you know. President Lin told me about that intel. Yeah, he said you're the most important person in Longuo. Don't listen to that nonsense. It's not nonsense. Shen Yuan looked up, stared into my eyes. You are, so I can't let anything happen to you. I was stunned. Then I smiled. So what's your plan? Follow me 24/7? If you need me to. Shen Yuan was joking. He stood up, stopped at the door. Chen Lishan, Don't die. The door closed. I sat in my office, staring at the closed door. A feeling I couldn't name washed over me. Don't die. Hit harder than love confessions. Because to him, death isn't just an idea. He's seen it way too many times. That senior in the wheelchair is just one of them. I pick up my pen and keep drawing. Not for some empty title of being Dragon Nation's most important person, but to live up to those 2 words. The next day, I made a decision. I called everyone together. Lin Wanqing, Minister Zhao Shen Yuan, Lin Xiyu, plus a few high-ranking military officers and soldiers who came to arrest me. This is a clear signal. I spoke up. They've confirmed that Tianlong is real, and they see me as a key player, so now they'll do whatever it takes. We suggest moving you somewhere safer. A lieutenant general said. No, I cut him off. Everyone looked at me. Hiding won't work. They want to capture me, because they think I'm the key to a tech breakthrough for Dragon Nation. But what if the tech breakthrough isn't just about me? Lin Wanqing frowned. What do you mean? I stood up. Break up Tianlong's technology and spread it. Give it to different teams. Flight control to Team A. Coding goes to Team B. Propulsion goes to Team C. Each team only handles part of the tech. No one knows everything. So even if they catch me, all they get is just one piece. And if I do get captured, the other teams can take over right away. Dragon Nation's tech will advance, no matter if I'm gone or not. The whole room fell silent. Lin Wanqing looked at me. In her eyes was shock, respect, and something I can't describe. Are you sure? You know what this means, right? Yeah, I smiled. It means I'm no longer irreplaceable. And that's actually the safest way. Shen Yuan looked at me. His eyes turned red. He knew what I was doing. I was turning myself from a target into just a regular person. I was protecting myself this way. And everyone who cares about me. It was nearly noon when the meeting ended. Shen Yuan was waiting for me in the hallway. He leaned against the wall, with his arms crossed. Looked like he'd been there a while. It was a long hallway. The fluorescent lights made a soft buzzing sound. Airport lights flashed in the distance. Sometimes, you could hear ground vehicles passing by outside. When did you come up with this idea? His voice was a bit hoarse, like he'd held it in for a long time. That night when I got targeted, I leaned against the wall, tilted my head and stared at the sky outside the window. Blue sky, white clouds, so clean like a painting. I was thinking, if I really get caught, what happens to Tianlong? What about the designs I haven't finished? And the ideas I haven't tested yet? What happens then? And then I figured it out. I turned and looked at him. Tianlong doesn't belong to me.
It belongs to Dragon Nation.
I just happened to be the first to draw the blueprint. Just like Watt didn't invent the steam engine. He just made it better. The Wright brothers didn't invent flight. They were just the first to fly. I'm standing on the shoulders of so many before me. I have no reason to think of myself as irreplaceable. Shen Yuan stayed silent for a long time. So long I thought he'd never speak again. The only sound in the hallway was the low hum of the AC. You know, if you really become just an ordinary dude, your rank as Major General, your perks, everything will be different. He finally spoke. His voice was soft. Doesn't matter. I cut him off with a smile. I sounded even more relaxed than I'd expected. I was just a streamer before. Fixed motorbikes. Talked big on camera. Never even studied aerodynamics properly. Making it this far is already a huge win. Major General or not. It's just a title to me. That's not how I make a living anyway. Shen Yuan, I took a deep breath. Turned to face him. The hallway lights cast a small shadow between us. There's something I've always wanted to ask you. What? That amulet? Do you still want it back? Shen Yuan froze for a second. It was so quiet I could hear my heart beating. Thump, 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 one beat at a time. Clear and strong. Then, he pulled that red safety charm out of his pocket. The same one I returned to him after the first flight. His fingers slowly traced the edges of the charm. The red silk was already a bit faded from wear. The corners were starting to fray. But those two gold words were still clear. Golden thread gleamed under the light. You know, I squeeze it every time before I fly. He hung his head, voice barely above a whisper, like he was talking to himself. I used to miss my senior. When I grabbed it, I felt like he was watching me. Felt like the things left unfinished were still being worked on by someone. Felt like I wasn't alone. He paused, his fingers stopping their motion on the charm. Now he looked up, looked me in the eye. The hallway light reflected in his pupils. So bright it was unreal, like a whole night sky in there. Now, I miss you. It was really quiet in the hallway. Airport lights glowed in the distance. A plane was coming in to land. The engine roar came through the glass. Deep and strong, I reached out and held her hand. Her fingers were cold, her shoulders trembling a bit. But her palm was sweaty, warm and damp. You don't need to miss me anymore. Why? I smiled. My smile was sure and at peace. I'm not going anywhere.
He didn't pull his hand away.
Didn't say anything either. Just dropped his head, looking at our hands holding together. The corners of his mouth lifted a little. In that moment, all the risks, all the pressure, all the unknowns felt bearable. 6 months later, at a test flight base in Dragon Nation, 6:15 a.m. The morning fog hadn't cleared yet. Ground crew had been busy over an hour already, doing final checks before takeoff. The Tianlong 2 prototype in full scale was slowly towed out of the hangar. The tractor hummed low. Everyone's face showed a kind of almost religious focus. This is more than just a plane. It's the result of over 200 days, of 300 engineers, and over 1,000 skilled workers working day and night. It's bigger than Tianlong 1. Wings are wider. Fuselage is longer. But the lines are smoother overall, like a stone shaped by water. Every curve. They're all almost mathematically perfect. We've done over 2,000 hours of wind tunnel testing. Every curve is calculated. Fluid dynamics software optimized over and over. Even each rivet spot was precisely calculated. Divisibility. Gray paint scheme. 3 big white letters on the nose. Tianlong 2. Bold and powerful. Serial number 001. I'm standing by the runway. Watching the plane I spent a whole year designing. This giant was built by hundreds of engineers. I squint a little. Shen Yuan stands next to me, wearing a flight suit, holding that red lucky charm. His short hair is windswept and messy. Strands flutter along his cheek. But he doesn't fix it. He quietly watches the plane, with awe in his eyes, with hope, and a bit of nervousness only a test pilot understands. Are you sure you want to fly? I look at him. His side profile is especially clear in the morning light. Jaw tense. A faint mark across his nose. It's from long hours of outdoor training. Just want to be sure it's not me today. I try to sound relaxed, but when I speak, my voice is tighter than I expected, like something is choking me. You flew last time because the flight control system was unstable. Shen Yuan turns his head, smiles at me. That smile is so steady, it calms me down. Now the system's stable. It's my turn. This is a test pilot's job. You can't carry all the risks alone. Besides, this is my duty. You took my job. I haven't even settled with you yet. I'm silent for a bit. I know he's right. But knowing and accepting aren't the same. My palms are sweaty now. I secretly wipe them on my pants. I've always been careful. Shen Yuan turns and heads toward the plane. His steps are solid. After a few steps, he stops. Looks back at me. Morning light falls on his face. In the backlight, his outline looks trimmed with gold. Chun Lishan. If I don't come back, you'll make it back. My voice is even firmer than I thought. Hard like a rock. I mean, what if? There is no what if. I step forward, take the red lucky charm from his hand, put it back in his flight suit pocket, press it in firmly so it won't fall out. Through the suit's fabric, I can feel his heartbeat. Usually a lot happier. With it, you returned it to me. It's just borrowed. Give it back when you return. Shen Yuan looks at me. His eyes are red. His nose is a little red too. He bites his lip, like he wants to say something. But in the end, he just nods. Nods hard, heavy. Then turns and climbs the boarding ladder. The ladder is narrow. His footsteps echo crisply on the metal steps. He boards smoothly and cleanly. Every step is steady. No hesitation. Looks back. The cockpit canopy closes slowly. Reflecting the morning sun makes my eyes sting. In the cockpit, Shen Yuan puts on his helmet, connects the come line, gives an OK sign to the camera. Tower, Tianlong 2 requests takeoff. Shen Yuan's voice comes through the headset, clear and steady, with a familiar, calm only test pilots have. Tianlong 2 is cleared for takeoff. Wind is northwest. Wind speed 6 meters per second. Runway is clear. Good luck. Engines ignite. Thrust starts low. The deep rumble suddenly jumps to a piercing screech. Tianlong 2 rolls onto the runway, getting faster and faster. The moment Kylan left the ground, the whole control tower went silent for a second. Everyone held their breath. Then the soft chatter started back up. He soared into the clouds, leaving a faint trail in the sky, like a white line drawn across the heavens, slowly spreading in the morning light, eventually blown away by the wind. Control, Tianlong 2 reports all systems normal. Altitude 5 kilometers. Speed 0.9 Mach. All readings nominal. There's a hint of suppressed excitement in Shen Yuan's voice. That's something unique to test pilots. A feeling that comes out only at the very edge. I'm staring at the data stream on the monitor. My fingers grip the edge of the table without thinking. My knuckles turning white. Hundreds of parameters flicker on the screen. Altitude, speed, angle, engine temp, fuel rate. All the surface deflection angles. Vibration frequencies for every part of the airframe. Every number change tugs at my nerves. Shen Yuan, you can start accelerating. Roger, Shen Yuan pushes the throttle. Tianlong 2's speed starts to skyrocket. 1.0 Mach, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 3.5 the numbers jump on the screen. Each update makes my heart skip a beat. 3.5 Mach. That means the plane's entering the thermal barrier. The skin temperature is rising fast. Surface temp at the nose section. Already over 300 Celsius. Tower, 3.5 Mach. Airframe stable. No shaking. All systems are good. Shen Yuan still sounds calm, but I can tell his breathing's getting heavier. There are tiny pauses between every word. The tower bursts out in cheers. Someone's clapping. Someone slaps a coworker's shoulder. Someone gives a thumbs up to the screen. But I can't smile, because a blip on the radar is approaching. It's moving fast, way faster than any civilian aircraft. So fast it makes my skin crawl. Shen Yuan, there's a UFO southeast of you. Distance 300 kilometers. Speed 3.4 Mach. It's still closing in. Copy. Shen Yuan's voice goes tight suddenly, like a guitar string suddenly plucked. It's really fast. Getting closer. Can't visually confirm. Too far away. Based on the radar echo. Looks stealthy. Radar finally locks on the target. A line of text pops up on the screen. A glaring red Venus. NGAD Falcon 6th Gen Fighter. Cody name. Ghost. Speed 3.6 Mach. It's faster than Tianlong 2. The whole place is dead silent. You can't even hear anyone breathe. My hand clenches tighter. My nails digging into my palm. Mark Davis's jet is faster than Tianlong 2. That means Shen Yuan has no aerial advantage. If they make a move, I don't want to think about it. Shen Yuan returned to base. Now my voice is almost a whisper. Every word squeezed out through gritted teeth, with an anxiety I can't hide. No, Shen Yuan. Let me try. His voice is super calm. So calm it freaks me out. That calmness isn't indifference. It's the peace after making a decision. That's a test pilot's gut reaction to a challenge. The most instinctive response. Shen Yuan pushes the throttle to the max. Tianlong 2's speed starts inching up. 3.55, 3.6, 3.65 each kilometer faster. Comes with a sharp temp spike on the airframe. And the engine's thrust maxed out. On the monitoring screens, the temperature readings update fast on every part. Nose 420 degrees. Wing leading edge 380 degrees. Inlet lip 500 degrees. Everything's nearing material limits. The two planes are over the Pacific, separated by 200 kilometers. Neck and neck. On the big screen in the tower, the two blips move almost side by side, like two shooting stars above the clouds. Tower 3.7 Mach. Slight vibration in the airframe, but it's controllable. Temps near max. Engine thrust at a full 112%. His breathing is getting heavier. Every word has a clear pause, mixed with the roar of airflow in the background. My heart leaps into my throat. 3.7 Mach, this is beyond any prototype speed. Should be the upper speed limit, already faster than design specs. Skin temp from air friction is almost at material limit. Any slight structural flaw, any hidden manufacturing defect, could break the plane apart in knitter and turn it into burning debris scattered over the Pacific. Shen Yuan, that's enough. Return, I'm almost shouting. My throat aches. Give me a little more time. I need to confirm its limit just a bit more. His voice is shaking. Not from fear, but from the overload and all the shaking. Shen Yuan, that's an order? He finally eases off the throttle. Tianlong 2's speed drops back 3.6, 3.5, 3 2. The shaking slowly fades. The temperature readings start to fall. And the NGAD slows down too right then. Both jets, 200 kilometers apart. Silent standoff in the sky, like two boxers, lowering their fists at the bell, glaring at each other, sizing each other up. Then Ingad turns away. That blip changes direction on radar. Heading east, speed dropping. Finally vanishes from the radar edge. Shen Yuan's voice comes through the headset, with a hint of a smile, a relief of survival, and a proud edge only a test pilot gets. Control, Tianlong 2. Reporting, they're gone. The control tower erupts in wild cheers. Someone jumps up. Someone slams their headset and applauds hard. Someone hugs a coworker, shouting. Minister Zhao takes off his glasses and rubs his eyes hard. Lin Wanqing leans against the wall, lets out a long sigh. I drop straight to the floor. My legs give out, my back soaked, my palm lined with red marks, left by my nails. Tianlong 2. The moment the wheels touch down, I hear the screech of rubber on runway. Then the heavy thud of the drag chute, like a deep, heavy sigh. White drag chute opens behind the jet, like a giant mushroom. Shen Yuan climbs down the ladder, face pale, but eyes bright as ever. His flight suit soaked with sweat, clinging to his narrow shoulders. His legs are shaking a little. That's normal after high G's for so long. But he stands straight, back perfectly upright. I rushed toward him. Then I just froze. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to call him crazy. I wanted to ask why he didn't follow orders. I wanted to hug him and say, glad you made it back. All my emotions were stuck in my throat. I couldn't say a word. Felt like something had me choked up. Shen Yuan looked at me and smiled. There was exhaustion in that smile. There was pride. A kind of light you only see after pushing to the limit. And a gentleness only I could understand. I pushed your jet to Mach 3.7. You must be out of your mind. I just wanted to see how fast it could really go. He said it so casually. Like he was talking about nice weather. Or how the cafeteria food's not bad. What if it broke apart? It won't. Shen Yuan shook his head at me.
His steady gaze made my heart race.
Right now, nothing in the world feels more certain than his trust in me. The plane you built will never let me down. I was stunned. Those were my own words. Before Sky Dragon 1's first test flight, I stood on this very runway and told him that exact thing. Back then, he was only half convinced. Now, it's like he believes it deep down. You remember that? Yash. And Yuan pulled out the charm from his pocket. The red fabric was soaked on one corner with sweat, but it was still intact. The gold letters for peace shimmered in the sun. You said everything you build has a soul. So I wasn't scared. I looked at his wind-burned face, and those eyes brighter than the stars. The guy who, even at Mach 3.7, still chose to trust me. I reached out and pulled her into a hug. She froze for a second. Then she totally relaxed. She leaned on my shoulder. Like a tense string finally let go. She buried her face in my shoulder. Her voice was muffled and a bit shaky, like she'd been holding it in forever, and finally found a way to let it out. You didn't need your charm today. Why not? Didn't need it. He looked up, eyes red, but a smile on his face, with tears still drying on his lashes. Having you in my head was enough. A year later, at a National Achievements Expo, I stood on stage, a massive screen behind me, honored leaders and colleagues. Over the last 2 years, our team finished these projects. Data started scrolling across the screen. First Gen Skydragon is now in engineering verification. Production set for next year. The first Deep Sea Hunter stealth sub has launched. Its sonar stealth tops everything the Falcons have in service. Our new supercapacitor has the world's highest energy density. It's on military drones and railgun projects. The quantum radar prototype passed testing. It can spot stealth targets. Detection range is over 500 km. Our hypersonic missile goes over Mach 8, covers the entire second island chain. Thunderous applause from the audience. I just gave a faint smile. These achievements aren't mine alone. They're from every engineer pulling all-nighters in the lab, every pilot taking risks out there, every sailor silent in the deep sea. It's all made possible by them. I look at the audience. Shen Yuan is sitting in the front row, wearing his uniform, grinning happily. Lin Xiu is beside him, sitting quietly, with a submarine tech manual in her hands. Next is Chin Daly. No idea how he even got in here. Clapping like crazy. Lin Wanqing is all the way at the end. Her hair is even whiter now, but she looks spirited. I take a deep breath. Last thing, here's what I want to say. 2 years ago, I was a live streamer. Someone asked me, how can a streamer build planes? I said because I'm Chinese. Thunderous applause. After the showcase ended, I went back to my office, turned on my computer. A new email popped up from Mark Davis. Just one line. I want to meet you. I stared at that email, stayed silent for a long time. Then I typed my reply. Come to China. Dinner's on me. A month later, inside a private room at a restaurant in China, Mark Davis and I sat face to face. Neither of us said a word. He looked much thinner than his picture. Deep-set eyes, but still sharp. He spoke first. When did your system awaken? My hand froze for a second. So you have a system too? Mark Davis sipped his tea 2 years ago. When I got the NGED project, we both went quiet. What can your system do for you? I asked. Optimize. Just perfect existing tech. I smiled the same. So why is your plane faster than mine? Because America's base tech was better than China's to start with. Mark Davis answered directly. My system optimizes. America's starting point is just higher than yours. But you can't win. Why not? Because your system can only optimize what's there, while I've already moved past just optimizing. Mark Davis's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? My second plane, Tianlang 2, wasn't given by the system. I drew it myself. Mark Davis jumped up. Impossible. Possible. I looked at him calmly. The system gave me the plans for my first plane. Then I studied them inside out. The second one, I designed it myself. Even better than what the system gave me. Mark Davis just stood there, complicated look on his face. Shocked, frustrated. Respect. I need a system. I stood up, held out my hand. Mark. You don't need it either. We locked eyes for a long moment. Mark Davis reached out and shook my hand. I lost. There's no winning or losing. I smiled. We're just starting from different places. But we all aim for the same stars and sea. At a launch center in China, a huge rocket stood on the pad. I'm standing by the observation window, watching that rocket. Shen Yuan stands next to me. He asks, "What's this time?" "Spaceplane." I say, "Reusable. Can take off from a runway. Fly straight into space. Planning to go beyond the atmosphere?" "Not now." I smiled, "But someday." Shen Yuan looks at my side profile. "Chen Lishan, did you ever think? If not, what would the system be doing now?" "Fixing motorcycles." I answered instantly. "And after that?" "Maybe one day, I'd see news about China's first new jet and say, 'Awesome,' in front of the TV. Shen Yuan laughed. "How about now?" Now I look at that rocket. My eyes light up. Right now I'm the one building that awesome thing. Ignition. The roar is deafening. Flames light up the whole night sky. I grabbed Shen Yuan's hand. He gripped mine back. The rocket climbs higher and higher, farther and farther away, turns into a star, stars and seas ahead of us. Months later, I started a live stream. 50 million viewers online. "Hey everyone. Long time no see, chat's going nuts. Tian bro. Are you still alive? Is Tianlong 2 real? Is Shen Yuan your girlfriend?" I glanced at the chat, smiled, not answering the Shen Yuan questions, and not answering anything about Tianlong 2 either. Tonight, let's check out something else. I switched the camera. A huge silver-white spacecraft filled the screen. Not an airplane. Not a rocket either. It's parked on the runway. Looks like an eagle ready to soar. What is this? I smiled. This is Shenlong China's first spaceplane. It can take off right from the runway, fly straight into space, and fly back again, landing like a regular plane. The chat went absolutely wild. "Tian bro, you're going to space. Is this freaking real?" I looked at the camera and said clearly, "Next stream, I'll go live from space for you guys." Stream off. I stepped out of the control room. Shen Yuan was waiting at the door. "Let's go," he said. "Where to?" "To look at the stars." We walked to the grass beside the runway, laying down, looking up at the starry sky. A satellite streaked across overhead, glowing softly. "Chen Lishan," Shen Yuan suddenly spoke. You think one day we'll get to Mars?" I thought about it. "Yeah, probably. What would you build there?" I laughed. "No idea, but it'll be amazing for sure." Shen Yuan smiled too. He turned and looked at me. "Chen Lishan. Thank you. Thank me for what?" "Thanks for not dying." I turned to look into his eyes. The sunlight shimmered in his pupils. "So bright. I won't die." He asked, "How are you so sure?" "Because I'm holding his hand tight. I've still got so much to build." Stars shimmer in the sky above, like dreams waiting to come true.
And me.
Someone who used to just fix motorcycles as a live streamer. Now I'm making those dreams real, one by one. Standing on the viewing deck at the launch center, watching that rocket trail disappear. Above the clouds, everyone around me is clapping, cheering, hugging. And I suddenly remember someone. The guy hunched in a motorcycle shop 2 years ago. Hands covered in oil, smiling at his phone camera, all young and cheerful. Back then, my biggest dream was just to make my shop a bit bigger, take on a few more jobs, save up to visit the airshow once, and see the J-20 flight demo with my own eyes. I never imagined that one day I'd actually draw up the plans for a plane myself, let alone that plane would reach Mach 3.7. Sometimes I wonder, what is that system really? Alien tech? A gift from the future? Or just fate working in mysterious ways? I don't know. But I know one thing. It didn't give me the answers. It gave me a chance to go from fixing bikes to building planes. And I took it with every all-nighter I pulled, every draft I tore up and redrew, over and over again. And every time I got back up, after failing. People say I'm a genius, but I'm not. I'm just a regular guy with some good luck. Lucky enough to be in the right place, meet the right people, and do the right thing. Lin Wanqing taught me what vision is. Minister Zhao showed me responsibility. Lin Xiu showed me how to never give up. Qin Daily showed me what trust means. And Shen Yuan, he taught me what real courage is. The kind where you're scared as hell, but you still hit the throttle and go full speed ahead. The kind of courage that, even at Mach 3.7, you still believe. Your plane won't let you down. The kind where you clutch a lucky charm, hiding your wishes in every single flight. I'm so lucky to have all those people quietly backing me up. Here on this red land where I was born and raised, I got to touch the stars in the sea.